Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time that you're listening to this podcast or watching. This is the Data and Potatoes podcast, where we talk about data and everything potatoes. And my name is Grace Musungu. Because I've realized that I never introduced myself here, so someone, someone actually last week DM'd me on LinkedIn and asked me, "Are you the Data and Potatoes girl?" Yes, I am. But also, my name is Grace Musungu. So I wanted to shoot a little fun video on do like a Q&A for like data analytics, and I asked my friend to go online and like look for interesting questions. I hope they are interesting questions, and then I will film a Q&A based off of those questions. So I'm just gonna be reading the questions from my phone. She emailed me the questions, so I have not opened the email, so I want to open the email right now. All right, so the first question is, if data were a vegetable, which one would it be and why? Okay, that's interesting. If data was a vegetable, which one would it be and why? I'd say it's potato. It would be a potato because of, you see how potatoes, like, they fit in different things and like in different areas of life. Like, you could have potatoes for dinner as fries or mashed potatoes, or you could snack as well for potatoes and stuff like you can never go wrong with potatoes. I feel like you can never also go wrong with data, and I feel they share the same versatility, because data can be used everywhere. It could be in sports, it could be in healthcare, insurance, it could be in marketing, in product management, or whatever. So yeah, like the versatility shares the same. So it's going to be, for me, it's going to be potatoes. What do you think? If data was a vegetable, which one do you think it would be? Also, what was the aha moment that made you realize that you wanted to pursue data analytics? I think it was, I was part of a market. Before I transitioned to data, I was a digital marketing specialist. And then I was like, yeah, what is the one way to find advantage in everything? It's tech. So that time I went and Googled digital marketing and tech, and then an article on data science popped up. This is years back, I had never heard of the term data science. That was the time. I am telling you, and I'm not lying. I read through that article, and then I went through like a rabbit hole, and I didn't sleep that night. Like, I just watched videos, read articles, I was sleeping. It was on a Friday, so like I wasn't working on Saturday. So on Friday, like on Saturday now at 5 a.m., that's when I was going to bed. I had already decided that I am going to be a data scientist. This is the field that I want, and I wanted to be in data science marketing field, but life throws curveballs here and there. But yeah, that was it for me. It was I don't even know if I've answered that question. If you could go back and give yourself advice on your first day in data, what would you say? Honestly, I'm at a place where I don't know if I should go back. I don't know if I'd say something, or I'd just like I'll give myself a hug. But basically, I'll just say that you have what it takes. Basically, I'll just say you have what it takes to like weather the storms of data analytics. And I would also tell myself to like just take one day at a time. You see, I'd just look at myself and say, you see that skill that you're so stressed up about that you don't have right now, just like break it down into little pieces and start. Yeah, that's for the internet. But you know what I would say, actually, if I now recruiters have stopped watching. Yeah, do you know what I would say? I would say, wow, it's that simple boy thing. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Hey, mutuse mimi. Yeah, that's basically, that's what I just insert that nini. That's what I would tell myself. But it's been a good journey. It's been beautiful. How has working in data changed the way you see the world? Do you find yourself analyzing everyday situations? I would say that I no longer, I don't argue much as I used to years ago, and that's because why argue when we could just like pull out statistics, like, yeah. For me, if I'm arguing with someone and they say, 67% says that, yeah, That's enough to shut me up. I don't just open my mouth to like argue with you. Like, I need facts, because you all know without data, yeah, everything else is rumors. So where what's the source? Like, source? Yeah, that's me these days. Like, yeah, I want to know the source of whatever it is that you're saying. What's your to go snack while crunching data, and does it influence your analysis? Yeah, I have evidence. A bag like crips. A part of my audience call them chips. Where I come from, chips is something else, but potato. Basically, this though I have actually stopped, because I realized that sometimes, when you're crunching numbers, when you're crunching numbers and all that jazz, sometimes it has like a level of stress, and I realize that I have been stress eating, so I don't have snacks in my desk anymore. So if it's to eat, I eat first and then I start working, because when I work while I'm eating, it's chaotic. So what or who or what has been your biggest inspiration in your biggest inspiration on your data journey? Okay, for me, the people that have been an inspiration in my data journey are not even in data, but there are things that they do that resonate with my journey, and they make me want to like keep on pursuing my data journey. If your career in data analytics had a theme song, what would it be? Oh my god, I can't find a song, because it's like, I want to paint a picture. Imagine you pay for a concert, for a Jason Derulo concert, and then you get to the concert and you find out that, oh, it's actually a Rose Muhando's concert. But then Chris Brown also performs as the last act. And then just before Chris Brown performs, Chris Martin also comes and performs. And then also DJ like Hardwell, the one that does house music, is also in that concert. So can you imagine, like, all that, put that in a song, like a song that is hard rock, but then also soft rock, but then also it has a gospel song, and then R&B, and then also Ed Sheeran is in that concert. It's chaotic. I can't find a song, because if I feel like if a DJ was playing a theme song for like my data career, it would go something like, it would start really nicely. It would go something like nobody sees, nobody knows, and then nimekukimbilia ewe Bwana, and then he says one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. And then, when you hold me in the streets, why can't I kiss you on the dance floor? And then, alipokwisha kunena, and I'll testify of the battles you won. If you can't love me now, don't love me later. Like, it's so chaotic. It would be like, it would be so chaotic. Like, I can't find a song. I don't know. That would be basically the theme song. Chaotic, but it's nice. It's but it's also nice. So what's one quality or habit that you think makes you better at working with data? One, I would say because I do have a background in journalism, I'll say investigative journalism. Yes, actually, investigative journalism. The skills that I learned in investigative journalism, those are the skills that make me a much better data analyst, because when you're being taught on investigative journalism, like, you need to have like a nose for news. Like, you must have like a nose for news, and you must be able to tell what would make news and what wouldn't make news. And when you're interviewing someone, you need to listen to what they are saying, and you also need to listen to what they are not saying. So when you take that now and you bring it to data, that makes me a very good data analyst, because I know what would make sense as an insight. Like, I know what would make sense as an insight, and what wouldn't make sense as an insight. because also in investigative journalism you're taught like dog bites man, that's not news. Man bites dog, that is news. Basically that, like, I know what would make insight and what would not make insight. And I think that thing also helps a lot with also stakeholder communication and stakeholder management, because sometimes people don't even know what they want, and people may not communicate. Also, they don't even know that they want that thing. They don't even know how to communicate that they want that thing. So that whole skill of like knowing like what someone is saying and also knowing what someone is not saying is a skill that I pride myself with, because it involves like a lot of listening and a lot of critical thinking. And I think that one gives me an edge, like an advantage. But what is the toughest lesson you've learned about data and about yourself along the way? I think the toughest lesson that I've had to learn is that this career can be a source of pain, like great deep pain and frustration, but also like inversely, it can be also a source of joy, you know. So I'll say, yeah, that's like the toughest thing that I've had to learn, especially the pain part, and also like showing up every single day for like this career that is not loving me back yet, showing up for like this career every single day and giving it my best, even though I don't see it making sense, and showing up like I am frustrated, but I'm also showing up. Like I want to quit, but also I am showing up. So it has taught me that, like the duality of life, and it's not been an easy lesson. So, and about myself, I didn't know that I have a lot of resilience. I honestly did not know. There's a level of resilience that I've reached that I never even knew that it was actually possible to even have it. So I'd say that, yeah. Do you have a favorite failure story from your data journey? One that you now look back on and laugh? Not laugh, really. I'm not healed. There's a technical interview that I failed. I say they never replied to me, but yeah, I know how I performed. I'm self-aware, guys. So there's a technical interview that I didn't do well, but then also like looking back, I know why I did not do well, and I can't go back and change why I did not do well. And it really haunts me up to this point. And I was just like, maybe that would have been my big breakthrough. But if you had to describe your data analysis style as a cooking method, at least something light. If you had to describe your data analysis style as a cooking method, what will it be? Boiling, frying, baking, or grilling? To be really honest, I'd say is it called the flambe? The one where like a chef does this in the kitchen, and then the flames like are like in the pan, and then there's this like big scary fire, but then the fire is also adding flavor to the meat inside or whatever it is that is being cooked there. I think that will describe perfectly my data analytics style, because I am in that stage where like life is doing that, and then there's fire, but then I know at the end of the day it's going to refine me into be someone better and something better. But at the moment it's like, oh, jump scare, like it's scary at this moment. That's the one that I would use to describe. What's your favorite meme that perfectly captures the struggles of data analytics? there's this meme there's this meme for, okay, maybe it's not popular. This has been for someone telling themselves that now I'll be sasa nitaingia data analytics nipate pesa ninunue gari ninunue nyumba ni invest in stocks, and then now life is saying niachie, not life mateso, niachieni huyo, achani na acha kuja venye nakuja, because that would be it. I can't think of another meme. What's one skill you never thought you'd need in data but has actually been super useful? Investigative journalism. I cannot insist that enough. Like investigative journalism. I was like, when I transitioned to data analytics, I was like, I'll never have to use my degree. But I'm like, every single day I'm reminded that there are some things that I really learned during that time that are so valuable to me right now into like into my journey, because like even report writing and like article writing and all that jazz, because someone, no, and this is not like a lot of people ask me, like, yeah, people, okay, handful, but like four hands, like, yeah, I've gotten that question a lot, like, how do you write, like, is it something that you taught, can you recommend a course? And for me, I thought that's like, yeah, it's common knowledge, everybody knows how to technical write and everything, like, because even when I've gotten gigs here and there and I've had to like report write for people, it's like the easiest part. At the end of the day, it's like the easiest part. I don't think I spent a lot of time there. Yeah, so I think that's the skill. If your data journey were a movie, what title would it be? I think it would be, okay, okay. I watch Nigerian movies, okay? So when I was growing up, there's this movie that was called The Return of Beyonce, the President's Daughter. I think it would be that movie because the suspense was high, but it was also very entertaining. It was so chaotic, but it was also very entertaining. I think that would be the movie. To be really honest, that would be the movie because it's tension. Because even you know how like you used to watch like the Return of Beyonce and you're like, what is gonna happen next? What's going to happen next? Even me right now, that's how I'm watching my life. Like, ooh, I'm like, ooh, plot twist. Oh, plot twist. Oh, she did what? Yeah, basically that's how I'm watching my data analytics life unfold. What's one myth about working with data that you wish more people understood? That your dashboard doesn't tell the whole story. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry because I know people say that dashboard should speak for for itself, but a dashboard is just the beginning of data storytelling. Yeah, it doesn't tell the whole story. Like there's no day on earth where you would ever be in a boardroom and you just project your dashboard and you sit down and let it speak for yourself. Like you have to explain because people perception of things are also very very different, and you need to talk. That's why communication skills is a required skill in data analytics, because you need to learn also how to communicate. So yeah, so I think that's a myth that more people should debunk and understand. Yeah, basically. How do you keep yourself motivated when learning gets tough? I honestly don't have the right answer to this, because how do I keep myself motivated? I just look at my life and then I'm broke and I say, girl, if you don't learn this skill, you're never going to get out of the block. And that instantly makes me go back and like learn. I'd say that. Honestly, I'd say that. What is the most memorable breakthrough or win you've had in data so far? Like when I started my data journey, I landed a role 5 months into, like 5 months into learning. I got my first role in an NGO, and I really need to add that experience in my on my LinkedIn. Yeah, I got a gig, and I don't want to mislead you and think that you can land a role in 5 months, but it was primarily they only needed me to use Excel during that time. And yeah, I need to say this in a small voice, because once you say you're good in Excel, then everything goes south. And I don't struggle with Excel. So that is what happened. And then I got this role, executed it so well, had the visualizations, dashboards, and all that jazz. And yeah, basically, that was 5 months into my learning. That was a big win. It was such a validation. Like it was such a validation moment. So for me, that's it. That was very memorable. And then I got paid, and I was like, people make that within such a short time. Yeah, basically. What advice would you give to someone just starting out who feels completely overwhelmed by all there is to learn? I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. The learning never ends. Ah, ha, 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 it never ends. You're going to feel like that always. You're always, almost always going to feel like that. What you're going to learn as you progress is, because some things you have to experience them yourself. What you're going to learn is that you're going to learn to take one step at a time. But for now, I can't really advise you because it's part of the process. You see, that thing you're doing right now where you're touching Python here and then you work on a project and then you hit a dead block and then you say, let me go to Power BI, and then you touch Power BI kidogo and then your project doesn't work. You move to Tableau, you move to Lucas Studio, you move to whatever it is that you're moving towards. For me, maybe this is a bad advice, but for me, it's like just you see, within all those chaos, you will just find yourself. There's no formula to it. You will just find yourself because at some point you're going to get tired of moving from one thing to another, one thing to another, one thing to another, and you're going to sit down and master one visualization tool, and then the next time you're going to open another visualization tool, and then you're going to realize that you're actually good at it, and it's just going to be always like that. And there's really nothing that I can say to make it better, but take it one day at a time. And because especially as a beginner, you can't listen when someone is telling you take one day at a time. You cannot listen. You won't even listen. Right now, I know you're looking at me and saying, hey, what is this girl saying? And me, I want to be a data scientist in 4 months. Basically, at some point, for me, I believe that you get tired. Like you get tired of that cycle, and you decide to be calm. So it's part and parcel of the journey. So don't stress. Have you ever felt like giving up on your data journey? What made you keep going? Are you asking me how I've been today? Is this question asking me how I have been today? Because that was me today in the morning, you guys. I was like, I want to give up on this thing because I was feeling like in the morning, like I'm in this thing where it's a one-sided relationship. Like I love this career so much, but it's not yet at a point where it's loving me back, and I'm really struggling because I feel like there's a lot of nonchalant dynamic going on here where I'm pouring my 100% and I'm getting, I don't know, yeah. So I was feeling like I want to give up, but then also I remember that it's not the first time. This is not my first rodeo. It's not the first time I felt like giving up. So all the times and every time that I feel like that, I just like chill and let it. I just let it pass because you're still gonna feel it like this. And then I asked someone who's like so many years into data analytics. I was asking them like, do you ever feel like giving up? And they're like, oh yeah, it never ends. So I guess it's here with us to say. So for me, I just acknowledge that I'm feeling it, and I acknowledge that I feel like giving up, and then I see why I feel like I want to give up, and then I act accordingly. Yeah. What makes me keep going? It's because I've covered a long distance. It's like when you're going like on a 10 kilometers journey, and now you're like at 8.5, and then you feel like you want to give up and like go back to where you started, but then you're like going back, it means that you will have gone 17 kilometers. You will just hold on and just do the remaining 1.5 and move to the other side. So for me, it's that's what keeps me going. Like I've come so far, and I can see that there's progress. They can see there's progress from where I started up to this point that I'm at. And yeah, I feel like feeling like giving up is just something that everybody feels at every single time. So what's something you appreciate about yourself now that you didn't before you started learning data? What's something that I appreciate about myself right now that I did not before I started data? I'll say I never really thought about it, but like the ability to be kind to myself. Yeah, like the ability to be kind to myself, because sometimes, even when not even in data, even sometimes when I'm filming this video, sometimes I do, like I can start filming a video, and then 5 minutes into it, like I feel like I want to change my mind. Like even this video that you're watching, I think at like minute 11, because I checked the timestamp at minute 11, I was like, do I really need to do this? But then I'm like, I'm kind to myself. I'm like, hey, This is just your 14th video. It's okay if you make a mistake right now. You'll just, yeah, that's the same attitude that I carry even in data. Sometimes I can be so hard on myself and I say, why have I not learned this thing at this time? Like, why can't I get this thing right? But then I'm like, like, just be kind to yourself. It's the first time you're handling this problem. Next time you'll be much better. So I think that's it. I don't know if I've answered that question really well. If data analytics was a vehicle, what kind of vehicle would it be? If my data analytics journey was a vehicle. If my data analytics journey was a vehicle, picture a beautiful vehicle like a Nissan. Nissan is like a type. Oh, when I say Nissan, I mean like a matatu. Nilikuja Nairobi na Nissan. The whole time, you mean like a PSV. Kumbe Nissan is a brand. Okay, picture like a PSV, like a matatu. It's beautiful, but it doesn't have wheels. And I'm inside that vehicle, and also there's no driver, and there's also no engine. And then I'm inside, and I can't open the doors, and I can't get out. So I just have to be there. But then somehow I figure out how to open the doors. I figure out how to get the engine, get the tires, and fix everything. And then remember that I'm supposed to be the driver as well. And then I drive to my destination. However, I'm not yet at that part where I've realized where I can get the engine from. I'm basically now just in the vehicle panicking. But that's the long short of things. Like, that's how it's gonna end. But I'm just there, like, I'm panicking, like, I'm questioning. So more or less that's where I'm at. And then if you could start a reality TV show, okay, that one I want it to be the last one. So let's do the second last one. If data analytics is a journey, where do you see yourself heading next on your path? Right now in my path, I've literally just parked. I'm enjoying viazi karai by the roadside, and then there's also someone selling smoky there. I am finishing with viazi karai, then I proceed there to have like two eggs and two smokies with pili pili. Basically, that's where I'm at in my journey. Eventually, I'm going to continue, but for now, I'm just there, yeah, sightseeing. I'm just like, whatever happens. But ideally, if I could plan it myself, like if I could wake up and plan the whole thing, I have a desire to do CFA. So might not eventually be a chartered financial. And I don't know, it's life can happen, but it's a desire that I have as per today. Yeah. 31st of October. As per today, this is a desire that I have. And then the last question is, if you could start a data reality show, what would it be called? Definitely Data and Potatoes. This is basically you witnessing me figuring it out. I don't know if you enjoyed that video. I really did enjoy that video, although I felt like reshooting that video. I have really enjoyed shooting that video. And what are some of the questions that you would be interested, like, I would want to know you too, like, how would you approach all those questions, some of the questions that I've really asked. Thank you so much for keeping me company and for watching this video up to this point. I will see you next week. Oh, by the time I see you, it's gonna be November. It's going to be November actually. So I will see you some other time. Have a lovely week.